Hey guys, it's Miss Landry, and this is your video for Mod 8, which is statistics. In class, we're going to be doing this a little differently, so make sure to take some good notes for use in class. So let's start with learning objectives. I'm not going to read these to you. Basically, we're going to look at two types of stats. We're going to look at descriptive statistics and inferential, and then we're going to take a look at some things about how you can use them and what to watch out for. So let's start with why stats are important. Okay, so what's the motivation behind the numbers that you see in the news and in articles? A lot of times it's sensationalism, right? Like they're trying to sell you on an idea or something. Here's an example. Don't look at that graph. I meant to have that on later, but let's take a look at this one. In the 1990s, the press reported that women who were taking a certain pill to keep from getting pregnant, so birth control, had 100% increased risk of blood clots that could produce strokes. Now, obviously, that is really scary, okay? For a woman, for a parent, anybody. This right here is what I would call sensationalism, meaning they're making it seem a lot worse than it is, because when you look at the actual numbers, it was 100% risk, but it only went from 1 in 7,000 to 2 in 7,000. So it's still a low risk. Now, I don't know if 2 in 7,000 is a risk you want to take, but it's still, when they say 100% risk, that's not for everybody. So be very, very, very skeptical of statistics. I love this article, or this one right here. It's asking, when you see statistics that are reported by the government, how reliable do you think they are? And so they looked at Republicans and Democrats, okay? And I think this is really interesting because look where it came from. So it's kind of ironic, I think. They found that Democrats actually thought about 34% of Republicans thought half of the statistics were reliable, and only 24% thought so. But look at the difference on most. It's pretty high for Democrats. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And the fact that it came from the government. So they're kind of asking about their own statistics, which I don't know, there seems to be a little bit of bias there. So, okay, let's move on. There are two types of statistics you need to know. There's inferential and there's descriptive. We're going to start with descriptive. So let's just jump right in. This is what you think of probably when you think of statistics. So it's measures of central tendency. You hear about mean, median, and mode. This is how you take your data, you're going to organize it, you're going to summarize it, and you're going to show it graphically. Now, it's important to note that we have something called a bell curve, right? And so the couple of things you need to know about the bell curve for the AP test. You have to know, on a normal bell curve, what percentage of the population falls within 1 standard deviation and within 2 standard deviations. So you can see it right here. This blue color right here is 1 standard deviation, and then going a little further is 2 standard deviations. So be very careful with watching your percentages right there. But the question comes up about what happens. I mean, most things in nature don't follow this normal bell curve, right? So how do we look at data that has more variation? Well, we can look at how it's skewed. Now, this to me it's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little bit counterintuitive, okay? Because when I look at this and I see that the curve is more towards the right, to me, that should be positively skewed, but it's not. So I want you to think about how it's skewed because of the mean. Notice that the mean is to the left of the median and the mode. So that means that the mean is to the negative direction. So we would call that negatively skewed. Versus positively, where the average is to the right, the mean is to the right of the mode and median, we call that positively skewed. You can